Welcome back to this Money Control live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka, and my colleague.
Hello there, I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, Yatin, it turned out to be a very terrible Thursday, so to say, and we hadn't anticipated such a bleak day of trade
Correct.
when we went into trade because Gift Nifty was hinting at a quiet start. Bajaj Auto numbers were also largely in line with estimates. Nobody had anticipated that the stock would fall in excess of 10% and drag the auto pack with
Correct.
itself and drag the Nifty as well to a 2-month low, right? So the Nifty has in fact slipped below that 24,750 mark as well, slumping to a 2-month low. Sensex down somewhere around 500 points, barely managing to hold on or latch on to that 81,000 mark. The broader end of the markets suffered deeper gashes. So the mid cap index was underperforming, 1.6% kind of a cut coming in there. Breadth was dismal, 1:3 advanced decline ratio. And if you look at the laggards in terms of sectors, no points for guessing. It was the auto pack,
Yeah.
that was the biggest laggard, slumped in excess of 3%. Even realty for that matter, Yatin, almost a 4% cut coming in on that index. All the other indices were also, in the red. But what really managed to stand, out amongst the ruins was the IT pack.
Yeah.
That's clearly ahead of Infosys numbers. But as we speak, Infosys has also declared its numbers. Net profit at 6,506 crore rupees vis-a-vis expectations of 6,755 crores. So looks like the profit has been slightly below
Correct.
estimates, Yatin. As and when we get more numbers, we'll be reading out and we'll be and analyzing them as well. But looking at the rest of the markets, in terms of individual movers, in terms of losers, of course, Bajaj Auto, 12% downtick coming in there, bleeding in trade, and that too, that was on the back of comments coming in on festive demand and how it's shaping up. That's something that spooked sentiment, and that stock tumbled 12%. You had Shriram Finance, Hero Moto, Nestle, M&M, all of these stocks among laggards. On the flip side, in terms of gainers, IT names were dominating the very slim list of gainers today. Tech Mahindra, Infosys, HCL Tech, these were some of the gainers. TCS as well, and Reliance Industries also stood out today, Yatin, lending support for a second straight day to the Nifty. But broader end of the markets, Yatin, quite a few result
Yeah.
reactions coming in
Quite
there.
a few result reaction. And Nandita, since we are talking about Infosys, that was a top gainer on the Nifty today, 3% higher. And they've increased the guidance, for the quarter. The new guidance now is almost 3.75% to 4.5% when it comes to revenue growth. The earlier guidance was 3 to 4%. So almost a quarter percent, higher, versus the market expectations. And if you look at the band, almost 75 basis points to 50 basis points, is the kind of lower end, the higher end increase which has come in. The margins are also seen at 20 to 22%. The expectation was around 21%. So they have maintained the margin guidance. And when it comes to the revenues, they have come in at close to 410 billion rupees versus the expectation of 408 billion rupees. So the revenue growth has been better. Guidance has been increased. However, slight bit of blip when it comes to the profitability. The profits are down nearly 2% versus the expectation. But yes, you look at the top line, you look at the guidance, I think it's a satisfactory set of numbers.
Satisfactory set of numbers. And Yatin, the stock already saw 3% bump up, as you mentioned, and maybe the guidance revision may already have been factored in.
Yeah.
That's something that we'll see, because we'll also have to focus in on the management commentary in terms of discretionary demand environment, deal wins as well. That figure, we are waiting for that as well. How deal wins are shaping up, and of course, what kind of a contribution came in from Insight acquisition that the company made back in April, the German automation company. So all these things will be watched out for. And of course, as you mentioned, the key to watch out for was the guidance, and also in terms of AI deals. What is demand shaping up there, and what kind of deal wins the company has clocked in, and how the future really looks like. But aside of that, Yatin, let's talk about Bajaj Auto. That was the biggest culprit.
Correct.
And that triggered a very sharp correction across the markets.
Yeah, and if you look at the numbers today, in line with expectations, but I think what disappointed the street was the management commentary on the festive demand. Now, the Bajaj Auto management sees a 5% increase in sales for the industry when it comes to the festive season sales versus the market expectation of 10 to 15%. So, on the festive season sales, the company is not expecting big fireworks. Obviously, if you talk about the brokerage, expectations, they were expecting that the margins will improve. The margins were slightly below expectations, and more importantly, as the electric vehicle production ramp up, the demand for EV scooters moves higher. That will probably have a negative impact on margins, because the better you sell motorcycles, and correspondingly, if you have higher share of electric vehicles sales, that will offset the margin gains. So I think the street was concerned on these two fronts. Obviously, if you look at the brokerage view, we have Citi, which has sell call on Bajaj Auto. Target is 7,800. Jeffries and Morgan Stanley have a buy rating. Their target is in excess of nearly 11,500 rupees and 13,000 in case of Jeffries. So brokerages have not materially changed the target prices, but yes, I think the management commentary on the festive season sales has been a jittery one, because of which, Nandita, we have the entire auto sector
Hmm.
languish in trade today.
That's true, Yatin. But when I spoke to experts, they said that the upside that Bajaj Auto in particular has seen,
Hmm.
in YTD as well, it has been a rank outperformer,
Hmm.
right? So the thing is that they say that most of the positives are already priced in terms of their new launches, the scale up of, the CNG
Hmm.
bike and E3 wheelers as well. So all of this is already in the price, and the dream run that some of these auto names have seen maybe behind us for now. That's the
Correct.
sense we get. But looking at the target price from two brokerages, 7,800 and 13,600. The street looks fairly divided as to where the stock price is headed, or the stock is headed from here. But on that note, as Infosys numbers are flashing on our screens, I want to also point out that Wipro will also be reporting numbers,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
this company has been facing a barrage of issues, right? There's been a new CEO also at the helm, and the company has, in fact, been facing 6 straight quarters of revenue decline.
Yeah.
This time around, the revenues are expected to be see flattish growth, but the guidance is expected to be revised slightly higher, zero point 0.5 minus 0.5% to 1.5%. That's the kind of expectation that the street is working with. Earlier guidance was of minus 1% to 1%. So this time around, revenue growth could be coming in within that band. The CC revenue growth. EBIT margins are expected to remain flat at 16.5%. Board will, of course, be considering the bonus issue. That is something that the street will be keenly watching out for, because, Monday, when we got this news that the company will be mulling a bonus issue, we saw the stock reacting quite strongly to it, and it was a top nifty gainer on Monday. But of course, let's see whether or not this announcement happens or not. This will be the first bonus issue since 2019 for the company, and the first under the new CEO. But a couple of pointers to watch out for will be the new roadmap that the CEO had
Hmm.
laid out when he had come in. Update on 5 focus areas. Progress of acceleration of large deal momentum, strengthening existing relationships, industry specific offerings and solutions, AI ready talent, and simplifying the operational model. These were some of the things that outlined by the new CEO. So update on these 5 focus areas will be watched out for, and of course commentary on demand and which of the verticals are doing well. Consulting, arm
Hmm.
or consulting segment was supposed to be doing well, continuing
Yeah.
to be doing well this quarter as well. So that's something that, of course, the street will be watching out for. IT, as I mentioned, was the top, was among the top gainers today. Few gainers, but let's see, what happens in terms of Wipro bonus issue, because that will be closely watched out for.
And I think a lot of results today, Nandita, Wipro, Axis Bank, we have Infosys
Hmm.
coming in. So all the reactions will be there tomorrow. Yes, today we had results of, Havels also. We had results for Tata Communications also, Bajaj Auto also. The reaction came during market hours. So I think the results so far have not that been great.
Hmm.
But yes, you'll watch out for all of this commentary, especially from the banking space, because this is one nifty, sectoral index.
Hmm.
If that shoots up, the overall index should do well. So all eyes on the banking earnings, especially for Axis Bank today.
That's true. Axis Bank numbers have also come out. I think it's a profit beat. We'll just look at the numbers when they trickle in. 18% jump in profit for Axis Bank, 6,918 rupees, vis-a-vis 5,864, on a YOY basis. So it is above estimates,
Hmm.
Yatin. As in when the margin and NPA details come
Correct.
out, we will be taking those up. But Nestle is the other one that reported numbers during market hours, and we saw a sharp reaction
Yeah.
coming in on the stock prices as well, given the fact that volumes declined somewhere around 1.5% vis-a-vis expectations of growth of 1 to
Hmm.
2%. So that was a major disappointment. Profit was up 8.6%. Revenues were down 1.3%. EBITDA margins, all of these were below estimates. But the management commentary, let's take note of that. They've said that 5 out of their 12 brands saw double-digit growth. 65% of the 12 brands, including Maggie, saw good positive volumes. But there has been softer consumer demand. which is what pressured some of their key brands as well. And commodity prices, especially coffee and cocoa prices remain elevated, and that is that has impacted earnings for the company. Also, cereal prices are high, edible oil prices are high. So until unless price hikes happen, margins could remain under pressure going forward. And price hikes, analysts say, even if they happen, they'll happen gradually. They will not pass everything on to consumers. So margin pressure is expected to persist for the company. But out of home business continues to be strong for Nestle. Aside of that, if you look at what experts are saying, they said that things could look better in the forthcoming quarters, because Nestle as a stock is currently trading at 60 times its forward earnings, which is lower than 5-year average of 80 times, and it is one of the better performing FMCG names. So let's see what really happens in terms of commodity prices and how the company really undertakes price hikes and passes it on to consumers. But some of the key brands have done well. We could draw some bit of comfort from there, but the stock price, of course, clearly a negative reaction coming in there, 3% lower for the stock of Nestle.
Absolutely, but the key here is the volume decline. I think the market did not like with FMCG companies trading at multiples of 30, 40, 50 times. I think if you don't give a growth number, the market really gets concerned and jittery, and that is what exactly happened for the shares of Nestle, wherein the key brands also have seen a decline in volume sales.
Well, I think with that, we've come to the end of Closing Bell. Lots of numbers trickling in as we speak. We'll take note of them. And of course, we'll decode the Infosys numbers in just a short while. So come back and join us in that coverage. But for now, it's a goodbye from me and Yatin. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned to Money Control for all your other news and updates.